You alright, guys? I just want to do a quick video on how to make a guitar play a little bit better when you get it straight out of the box. So a lot of people order guitar online these days. I do it a lot, and sometimes, certainly with the guitars, maybe less than £1,000, they come out of the box and they don't play very well, and they've been cold, and the action's really high. So the way it plays can really affect how good the guitar kind of feels and sounds. So I've recently bought this. You can see it. It's one of the Charvel walnut guitars. It's a really great guitar. I've had a couple of Charvels in the past, and I've had like a DK24, one of the cheaper ones at about £600, about $900 or something. And that actually played really well because that came straight from Charvel. But with this one, I can tell it's a good guitar in there. It's really light. It seems to ring really well. But there's some, like, it plays so bad, and I don't know if you guys can sort of see, but look, the action is absolutely massive on it. So I just want to show you, there's a couple of things that you can look out for. To know how to make it play better, you have to kind of know roughly what you have to adjust. So there's a few things that you have to adjust on a guitar. There's something called the truss rod, and again, for the people that know all this, I am going to go through it just for the people that don't. So the truss rod, sometimes on a lot of the Fender guitars, you'll see the truss rod, it will have like a little thing here, that is the truss rod. But on this one, you can see down here, it's like a little kind of Allen key adjustment thing, and that's how you adjust the truss rod. And that's essentially what the truss rod is, excuse me, is it's a big metal rod that runs down the neck of the guitar, which basically gives the neck a little bit more strength. And it also, if you tighten it or loosen it off, it makes the neck go either forward towards the front of the guitar or backwards. Now, that's useful in a couple of ways. If you've got a neck that's bowing forward, what that means is you have a slightly larger action on it. If it's bowing the other way, sometimes you can get like fret buzz and all that kind of stuff. I'll show you how to look out for that in a sec. The other way to adjust the action is on the saddles here. You'll see all these little Allen key screws just on the bridge there. So you can raise those up and down by twisting an Allen key in there. If you've got a trem, sometimes there's two screws either side of the trem arm that can bring the bridge up and down. So one of the first things you have to do is find out which way the neck's bending, if there's anything at all. So with this one, and I'll show you in a separate video, I'll pop it on the screen now. Okay, so it's important to look down the guitar with the guitar sort of vertical like this, just purely because if you have it in any other position, gravity is going to act on the neck and it's going to pull it one way or another, so you don't want that to happen. So if you can sort of see, I mean, it is difficult to see with this, hang on. Right, so there you go, I've got a half decent angle. If you look down, there's ever so slight bow towards the front of the guitar, but to be honest, this is probably over straight, it's a bit too straight. So, you know, you might want to get someone to adjust that and put a little bit more even. But again, it's not fretting out, it's not buzzing, so I'm not really that worried about it. So yeah, you look down, and as long as there's not a crazy bow forward or a crazy bow backwards, you're all good to go. So with this, I wouldn't adjust this. So from that video, you can see that the neck's pretty straight. If anything, I'd probably put maybe a slight bow towards the front of the guitar in it, just to give myself a little bit more action there. So you can check to see whether it's going to fret out as well. So what you want to do to check to see if the guitar is going to fret out or have any fret buzz is hold your finger on the low E on the first fret, and also on the 24th fret, and basically have a look down the neck to see if there's, so you can kind of hear that it's not really fretting out, it's pretty close to the frets. So what you're looking for, essentially, if you guys can see this, is you're looking for the distance, again, I guess the action, when you hold down the last fret and the first fret, you should have maybe a millimetre and a half there. If the action is still kind of like this when you're holding down the 24th and the first fret, then you've got a pretty big bow this way towards the front of the guitar, so that's a neck adjustment. Same as I said on this earlier, there's not a crazy bow, the neck is pretty straight, so I'm going to leave that. So what that does tell me is that I need to adjust the saddles, because the neck's pretty straight, there's not a really massive gap when I hold down the 24th and the first fret there, so I'm going to have to bring the saddles down. And on that note, any kind of truss rod adjustment, I'd really recommend, if you haven't done it before, take it to a pro or a guitar shop and get them to do it, because it's easy to really knacker the neck if you don't know what you're doing with that. So luckily, the problem we've got with this guitar is that we need to bring the saddles down. So what you want to get hold of is, I've actually got this multi-tool, this came with my Ibanez guitar, and it's got all of the different Allen keys and screwdrivers and stuff that you need to adjust a guitar. So you want to find the right Allen key to adjust the saddle. So if you look in here, again, it's these little it's these little Allen key screws in there. So when you're adjusting these, when you turn it right, that's going to put the saddle up, so that's going to raise the action. When you loosen that, it's going to drop the saddle down, which is going to lower it. So when you adjust this, what you have to do is do it in increments. So do it like a quarter turn or a half turn at a time. And don't do anything drastic, because if you throw them out, you're going to end up with loads of different strings at different heights, if you don't know what you're doing, that is. So what I would recommend doing is, just to start off with, do a half. I'm going to do a full turn on this just because the action is really high. Another thing you have to bear in mind as well is gravity will act on this neck, okay? So when you're playing it, you always want to check your work with the guitar in your lap to see what the action's like there. Because if you're holding it like this, the neck's going to be pulled that way, which is going to make the action lower. Or if you hold it like that, the neck's going to be pulled down towards the floor, it's going to make the action higher. So make sure you always check your work with the guitar in the playing position. Okay, so again, action, pretty high on there, quite a big treble on that string. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to loosen it because that will take the action down. And I'm going to do it on every saddle, okay? So I'm going to do a full turn again on this, so all the way around, full turn. And you're going to do that to every single Allen screw in this bridge, okay? I'll probably speed this up just so that you guys aren't bored out of your head. So I've done one full turn on all of that. You can tell it's nicely in tune, and that's the thing, make sure it's in tune before you do that, so that, because it'll be tuned like that. So what's my, make sure it's, right, we've got an E. And again, use a tuner, guys, yeah? Okay, that's already way better. I can still come down a little bit more. Another thing to be wary of as well, which I didn't mention at the beginning of the video, another thing that can affect the action is the nut as well. So you see this nut's actually pretty aggressively high in there. So what I would probably do with this as well is just take a little bit off of that nut as well. That's a bigger job, and again, I would recommend taking that to a guitar shop if you can do that. This is just to get it playing better than it is straight out of the box. Okay, so you can see that's actually brought the action down quite a fair amount there. What I might do, again, check your work. You can hold down the 24th fret and the 1st fret, make sure that it's not crazy. I would still bring that down. So what I might do as well, it's pretty drastic, but I'm going to do another turn on each of these. And normally you wouldn't have to do it just because this action is pretty, it's pretty wild. So again, we might do a little speedy up. Right, okay, so that's another turn. So it's 2 whole turns I've done this. Again. I mean, that's way better. It's actually quite nice to play already. And again, this normally guitars come with pretty light strings. I think these are 9s on this, so I'd probably put 10s on my guitars. So again, I'll have to adjust all this again when I change strings. But as you can see, that action is coming down real nice now. It's still a little bit high, but it's way better than it. And again, it's all trial and error. And the reason why you do it in increments with the moving of the saddle screws is so that you can undo it if you go too far as well. And you know how much you've done on each guitar. So anyway, I hope you found this interesting or useful. If you've got any questions, just leave a question in the comments section and I will get back to you. And again, don't go too far, don't adjust the neck on your own, but it's always good to know how to adjust your guitar. Anyway, take it easy guys, I'll speak to you soon. Bye.